Today's video is a patron request, and after reading the article to myself and looking at the images, I feel like I should wear this. That is not a criticism, it's more of a certification of my skepticism, which sounds so damn arrogant, I know. Thank you to Melissa Karlee for linking this to me. So let's just dive right in with this YouTube demonetization bollocks. YouTube demonetization screenshot leaks plus secret YouTube meeting. Before we get into this twit longer and the subsequent IMG related images that are quite interesting if true, which actually is the point and the reason I've stopped this so far, I am not convinced that this is 100% true. That's quite a silly thing to say, I know, but at the same time I would like to treat this as if it is true, but I am skeptical, because I'm a good skeptic clone. Hello. Allow me to preface first with a few things before we get into this. I am a YouTuber. I am posting this anonymously because I feel the information should get out, as it could benefit creators with insight, but I also am concerned by the potential repercussions sharing these things could bring about. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that the information was obtained from someone that had signed an NDA. I was contacted some time ago by a person who was a viewer of my work. This person, henceforth known as my contact, worked for a company that ended up being connected to Google/YouTube. I will not provide too many details about this person in order to protect them. With cases like this where sensitive information or secret meetings are being leaked, this is one of those times where being open is best for credibility's sake. It's why I am approaching this with a certain level of, and I think this is the third time I'm saying it, skepticism. But they became my eyes and ears behind the scenes on what was going on with YouTube's new policies and policy enforcement, and creators trying to further figure out how to tell if their content is at risk. I felt the need to release this with my contact's blessing. Google some months ago put out a job posting which required a number of different people to work on one project. Google claimed in the posting that they needed a third-party company to work as web search evaluators. My contact worked for the unnamed company that put in for the job and was accepted by Google. My contact didn't know what to expect from the job, but was told to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to be part of it. My contact accepted and signed the NDA. This is when things changed. Once the NDA was signed, my contact found that they weren't working as a web search evaluator. They were demonetizing YouTube videos. They would be given YouTube videos to review and had a checklist of sorts to go through to be sure the video fit or didn't fit certain criteria. This reference to criteria suitable for monetization and those that are not are what the IMG images are. I have linked both this twit longer and the IMG thing down in the description. Feel free to peruse at your leisure. One of the most important things to take away from this is that if the person reviewing the video wouldn't feel comfortable watching the video in public, it should automatically be demonetized, which if true is quite alarming, and we will get to those images once we are finished with this, because I want to go through each image in turn to focus on some of the key points they raise for what is and is not suitable. My contact stated that the company told them that if they were on the fence about a video and didn't really know if it violated any of YouTube's new rules, to demonetize the video anyway. Also, if the reviewer doesn't find anything listed that's wrong with the video, they are allowed to insert their own personal belief on something that is sensitive or inappropriate, and can have the video demonetized that way as well. Well, I guess that explains manual review, although I do believe Tealdeer was right when he mentioned that about 90% of his videos have been reinstated for monetization after manual review. To be honest, that's actually quite good, considering the terms we now work under, and them being the ones that set the standards. Although I don't like this idea of people having control to make the decision based on their beliefs, but also if criteria are not met somewhat. Here are the screenshots from the third-party company's viewpoint. This will hopefully provide insight for creators who are confused on how YouTube decides what is okay and what isn't. Truthfully, it's not really YouTube who's deciding it. It's the employees at the company they hired to review the videos. Well, isn't it lovely? YouTube have outsourced doing a part of their job properly because they can't do it properly, so they'll provide criteria to someone else to do the job properly, but also give additional notes so they don't have to do the job properly based on their personal beliefs, or if they can't find criteria that suit the video they're reviewing, so they could just demonetize anyway. It's my belief that anytime you request a manual review, these people are the ones conducting it, and they could demonetize for whatever reason they see fit, even if they personally disagree with the content or the message. This could explain why many videos that don't violate any known criteria can still be demonetized by manual review, because the reviewer thought it should be based on their own reasoning. Okay, so the images I'm now going to show you, we're going to treat them as if they're true for the time being, just because I think it's easier than continually having to say, but I'm not convinced, or go into depth as to why I don't believe they're true. Sensitive category, inappropriate language. Lewd or explicit language in the audio, video imagery and or video title. This, oddly enough, is something I'd considered would be a criteria to begin with, which is why, for the most part, I've dumbed down or reduced the amount of profanity I used in content. In fact, I think it rarely comes up. I've used the word dipshit, dickhead, tosser, yeah. Excessive profanity, any language intended to offend or spread hate, racial or other derogatory language, slang you might find offensive or inappropriate for a general audience. That last one, yeah, context goes out the window. Does not include profanity at levels and types you would expect to see on regular TV, including music videos and movie trailers. Well, that's interesting because there are some words used in music that I don't think you'd want, like the word nigger perhaps. Violence. Graphic or gruesome content and images that may shock or disturb or disgust viewers, including, that must include me surely, tentacles, come on, in Japan in context they might think of me as a sex toy. Dramatized or animated content that is excessively gory or realistic. Animal attacks that cause serious injury to humans or other animals. Animal cruelty, for example, cockfights, force-feeding animals. That's rather interestingly, I would have thought was already in the criteria for things that wouldn't get monetized, but obviously you guys have slipped up and now need to insert it. News footage of current events involving terrorism or war, which is interesting because there are a number of channels that have or are news, like CNN and other broadcasters that have channels that do in fact show, for context, whatever war it is they're describing, or violent attack of course. Videos showing death, that, the very fact you even need to put it there, is a shocker. I'm joking, it's not. Focus on the level, extremity of violence shown. If you select this category, you will also select between terrorism, war and conflict, death and tragedy, or other. Right, could have just put domestic. Drugs. Use of, promotion and or sales of pharmaceutical drugs and illegal narcotics. Focus on scenes of drug use and positive portrayal of drugs and drug use. Depends on the drug. Just saying. You mentioned pharmaceutical drugs. Some of it might actually be medication. Maybe it's to help people. Maybe it's a self-help video. Not that that in any way should deter you from demonetizing the videos. And I'm not going to make excuses for it because personally I think unless your channel is built off the back of you taking drugs, you don't really have a need to take them on camera. Maybe I should update my avatar to have a pot of pills in his hand. Tentacle, sorry. Does not include anti-drug content or documentaries about drugs. Nice! Okay. Sex nudity. Content posted that includes full or excessive partial nudity. Content posted that includes full or excessive partial nudity or content that is posted for the purpose of sexual gratification and or glorification with the intent to arouse or titillate the viewer. Based on some of the fan art I've seen of myself and Miss Misa, I get the feeling I should be demonetized on principle. Examples include excessive partial nudity. How do you have excessive partial? Oh, okay, vulgar, trashy or racy. Well, that's a lot of vlog channels fucked. Especially ones that do exercises and only focus on them doing squats. Full nudity, the fact that even... whatever. Adult toys and masturbation. What about if they do a stream solely to try and help someone get a sex toy? So they do a fundraiser. The cunt stream is the example I'm referring to, where they tried to get... I think they were successful in getting Opal a sex toy. Should have gone with a tentacle dildo. Real or implied sex acts. Explicit animal mating. How else am I supposed to listen to David Attenborough? Abuse, including rape. How on earth is this something that has to be stated? It's pretty obvious that obviously, if you're giving criteria, I guess you're going to have to give every possible answer. But the fact you have to actually put it there, which implies outright that YouTube has been monetizing videos that are rapey in nature. When you've covered the violence ones, am I right to assume, though, when it's violence towards those that have been accused of being a paedophile or rapist, and they get beaten in the streets? Those videos, by the way, do exist on YouTube. Am I right to assume they're okay? Because those little villages where they beat the living snot out of those people, yeah, they need the shackles to get clean water. I'm not promoting violence, by the way. In addition to any of the above categories, please tell us whether the video content contains a subject or subjects that viewers are likely to find offensive, disrespectful, or otherwise controversial. Completely subjective. A short list of topics include content promoted by extreme political religious groups. Well, the extreme political part again, I've been called a right-wing apologist so many times. Does that include me? Content intended to promote prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism of a specific group of people. Example, content that promotes misogyny, xenophobia, racism. How about content that criticizes individuals because the individual is peddling an idea that no longer stands for what it's supposed to? How about that? Nice to know social commentary though, got a little shout out with the misogyny bit though, right? Abuse, exploitation of children. Daddy05, suck on that. Content that is otherwise very creepy or disgusting, that's probably just. Other sensitive topics, such as abortion, suicide. Okay, so I kind of get this. There were, not long ago, I believe Grady Undea did a video, probably about a year ago, and he mentioned Repsion, I think he mentioned Boogie as well, talking about that how their videos were demonetized when they talked about suicide. I kind of understand why the videos were demonetized. And I don't mean to sound rude, but I'm with YouTube on that one. You can't expect to talk about suicide in such depth and think that you're going to earn some money off it, because it is such a difficult subject. I don't think advertisers find it ad-friendly either. Controversial. Oh, this part's going to be good. Please don't use personal biases when evaluating this category, but you've allowed people to, because a lot of the areas you've covered are somewhat subjective. When evaluating this category, specifically the following content is not considered sensitive due to the topic itself. It should be considered sensitive if there are other reasons to do so per the above instructions, such as violence, sex, or antagonism against these groups. So it does not include content made by or about gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender people. Riley must have an amazing CPM right now. Content about minorities or protected groups such as African Americans, disabled people, immigrants. You left out Cthulhu-Kin. But you should definitely include in any other area Magogonite, because fuck 'em. Respectfully presented content about mental health topics or helping stop child abuse. What about the content Suit Yourself managed to archive? What about the content Suit Yourself did? Didn't he get a copyright or a community guideline strike for that shit? Content respectfully discussing social topics like women's equality, racial justice, or poverty. How about equality, justice, or poverty? You're inserting gender and race into things that affect everyone, in all walks of life, in other countries, not just your own. Don't think for a second that aren't poor people in predominantly black countries, or poor white people in predominantly black countries. Everyone should go and watch those things that Lawrence Southern's working. They're rather interesting. Now there are a few more images to this, but I don't want to cover any more, because I think this is rather interesting, and I would like to know what you all think about this. Also, before we finish, recently Gary Awesome lost his channel. He'd done really well, his channel was quite big actually. He started a new channel called The Awesome. I have linked it below, please consider subscribing to it. And I hope you all have a lovely day.